Ahoy hoy, Desktop Jedi back with part 2 of this Voidstar match. In this video, my team is defending, and I'll talk about the abilities I have at level 19, as well as my overall impressions of playing at Jedi Guardian in beta. If you want to see the video of my team on offense, and hear a little explanation of how Voidstar works, then click the link in the description below. Alright, so we'll start from the top left of my action bar. The first ability is just my basic attack. It gives me focus and it does damage. Focus is the resource that Jedi Guardians need to do a lot of their abilities. It doesn't have a cooldown other than the global cooldown, so you can spam it. I wouldn't do that unless Sundering Assault is on cooldown and you need focus. That said, the next ability is Sundering Assault, and that does the same thing as your basic attack, except it also puts a negative armor debuff on your target, which can stack up to 5 times. This does have a cooldown. I think it's 4.5 seconds, so you want to use that whenever it's up. The third ability is called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's just an AoE damage ability. It uses 3 focus, I think, and I think its main purpose is to just stop multiple people from capping. The fourth ability, I also don't remember the name of, but it's just a damage ability. You need 4 focus to use it. It has no cooldown other than the global cooldown, but I wouldn't use it unless you have almost max focus, or you're just about to kill somebody and your other damage abilities are on cooldown. My fifth ability is called Saber Ward. It just increases your chance to parry and dodge, I believe. I think it has a 5-minute cooldown, so you want to make sure you try and pick a good spot to use it in PvP, and in PvE you would just use it whenever your healer is falling behind and you need him to catch up. The sixth ability is like Revenge for a Warrior in WoW. Whenever someone dodge or parries you, it'll pop up and you can use it. It costs 4 focus. So you want to, I would suggest you try and make sure you always have 8 focus if you can. You need 4 for the Revenge type ability. That ability also ignores the global cooldown, so you can use it even while your global cooldown is up, which is nice. And so you always want to use that as soon as you can, because it has, I think, an 8-second cooldown. So you want the cooldown to start, and so you can use it again as soon as possible. The ability to the right of that is called Force Slash, I think, and that's a really good offensive ability. It's a force attack, does a lot of damage, it costs 4 focus. So between that and the Revenge ability, I would suggest trying to stay at least 8 focus whenever you can, so you can use those abilities whenever they're up. The next ability is Force Leap, which is just where you leap at your target. It's good for either getting back to a target after a knockback or initiating a fight. It gives you 3 focus, so it's really good for initiating. Besides just covering distance, it gives you the focus. The next ability is like a PvP trinket. I think it's on a 2-minute cooldown. You get it really early in the game. I think you might even get it at level 1, I can't remember, but you get it really early, it's nice. The next ability is an AoE slow. I can't remember what it's called exactly. It costs 2 focus to use, so if somebody's trying to kite you, you just got to get close enough and use that, and it'll slow. I think it slows their movement by 40%. Or 60%, one or the other. So that's a really easy way to cover or to keep them from kiting you. The last ability on the top bar is Kick, and it'll just stop someone from casting a spell, or if they're in the middle of casting or channeling, you can use it and it'll stop it. So that's just about all the abilities I use. There's one on the bottom, second from the left, called Guard, and if you use that, then use it on an ally within 15 yards of your character, and it'll redirect 50% of the damage that character is taking to you. In this beta, you just don't have enough health or gear to really make it worthwhile, so I never did it. So that's pretty much all the abilities I had as a level 19. As far as my impressions, knockdown, you gotta be careful when you're in that area because you can get knocked off, and most classes have a knockback, so just be careful. As far as my impressions from the beta, I think that the range classes were definitely better at low level, it seemed like. If you look at some of the post-match recaps I have, usually it'll have a ranged character like a Commando or a Bounty Hunter or something like that having like 200,000 damage, and if you look at the Sith Warrior or Jedi Knight damage, it's usually pretty hard to find someone over 100,000. So I don't know if it's just because when you I mean, I guess as a Jedi Knight, when you start attacking someone, they always just start attacking you back. Whereas if you're ranged, you can usually a lot of times just sit there and kill people non-stop, and a lot of the ranged get knockbacks at low levels, so they have easy ways of getting people off of them. But hopefully, once we get to higher levels, it'll kind of even itself out. I'm sure if I had somebody healing me too, it would have been a lot better, but I've also read on the forums that people think that the Jedi Knight and Sith Warrior are really crappy right now, and that nobody's going to play them because their damage is awful and the range just kicked their ass. But I think it's hard to tell before level 50 what is really going to happen. So I would say if you want to play, if you like melee, go ahead, choose a Jedi Guardian and have fun.